System riding to the core. Yeah. Reppin' inner city left.
This is the Inner City Left broadcast. Today is Tuesday, November 4th. My name is Amin TMK, alongside Amoja, Lil Tanky Sumler. Amoja, hello. Happy Tuesday.
It is a happy Tuesday, and yet I am bereaved.
Tell me what's happened.
There's been a loss, man.
No. Who was it?
They got Dick, man. Cheney, man. No.
A true American lost, man. I felt that
Flags
way, too.
that have staff, man.
Yeah.
Fucking do it.
Had to throw something on the grill. That's all I'm going to say about that one, baby. We've been waiting a long time.
Boy.
Watch the movie
You know, you
Vice.
talk about... Like,
Do you remember Vice? Did I show you that?
Nah, you put me up
we
on
might
that.
have to throw up on it. Now, what were you about to say, though?
Man, you know, you think about undead things, right? Like, when I think about Dick Cheney, I think about, like, an undead thing. Like, this man is like a lich, or like a mummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got Horcruxes, bro. This dude took, like, how many hearts? 5 heart attacks?
Multiple.
Where they, I mean, this is ghoulish shit, man. Like, your life is literally being fed by the lives of other people. Like, you know, the Reaper coming every day for you.
Trying to go duck hunting?
I got that real health care.
Hey, you want to go duck hunting with me real quick?
Man.
Yeah. Now, go ahead. Go up front. Go up front. Yeah, nah. You're the better athlete.
And even though he's dead, I would just like to take this time to apologize to him in advance. Because I know how scary he was when he was in undeath. You know what I'm saying? The powers that he has probably amassed in the last 6 hours, you know.
He's joined up with Merkel, I'm sure.
Right now, I want no smoke. Merkel.
He's been running with Merkel. Yeah, so that's that. We're out the way on that one. Throw some on the grill, whatever it is that you do. Put something in the air, as they say. Let's talk a little bit about Ukraine. I heard that there's not much going on, and I want to show you this because this was on Yahoo News here. Oh, sorry, not that one. We're going to get to that one. Spoiler alert.
You wildin' today.
Now we have something on the menu. So we were talking about, guys, there's no war.
Peacetime.
It's peacetime.
There's no war boxing say, man.
Guys, a picture of Zelensky. This is a picture of Zelensky right here. It is. Ain't no war in Petrovsk, man. It's not happening, baby.
Yo. I heard they filmed a very important movie, man. It's a summer blockbuster. Black Hawk Down 2. You know what I'm saying? And 3.
And 3. Wow. It's like Titanic 2. It's not quite the exact same movie, really, but yeah, no, that's what's going on. So that is, I just want to show you that is the narrative that is being trying to be played. Let's talk about reality if we can. Glenn Deason is a person who we trust ish on the matter. Person that's in the know, I should at least say. A catastrophe is unfolding in the strategic city of Petrovsk, where thousands of Ukrainian soldiers are encircled. However, the media downplays the situation to maintain public support for the war, as some Europeans might start calling for a return to diplomacy. As you can see right there, it don't look good. This feels to me a little bit more accurate, a lot more accurate. Keeping it real. We see the Petrovsk taking over the rest of it, looking to be encircled. What are your thoughts? What is happening right now?
Man, okay, so like this is a great map because it shows you a lot of what is happening. It's important to remember Pokrovsk is an entire city. Like it's a big ass city. And there's somewhere between, well, about a week ago, there was 5,500 Ukrainian soldiers in there. That number has went down every day, steadily. They're the ones that have been told to hold the city at all cost. Well, all cost means now they're completely surrounded on 3 sides. Now, you may be saying, like, why is everyone saying this is an encirclement? right? Even that place where it looks like it's open is not open. It's literally a kill zone where you're daring the enemy forces to try to run out of this seemingly open space, right? All of the troops are being funneled through this one area, which is controlled by Russian artillery, Russian aviation, FPV drones, mines. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get out that way. It's set up to make you run toward it simply because it is a trap. So for all intents and purposes, the city is surrounded on all sides, you know. Meanwhile, Zelensky's saying that they're winning. You know, I'm joking about things that are serious because a day or two ago, there was when he went out and gave that whole speech about, there's no problems in Pokrovsk, we're winning. Apparently somebody that was important was in the city. Somebody probably that the West can't have be captured. You know what I'm saying? You have to remember that Putin was saying straight up, we will have a ceasefire and we invite Western journalists to come to the city and to see the condition that the city is in. And Zelensky is like, no, nothing to see, right? So now we're days away from that. You know, the situation has gotten worse. You know, they tried to sneak some Blackhawks into the city, hopefully to like try to extract someone. The Russians were watching the whole thing with their FPV drones. They shot they let the Blackhawks land. They dropped special forces. Like, these are your elite of elite troops, probably Azov, or God knows whoever else, but not your normal soldier. These are crack stormtroopers that you're dropping into the hot zone and they're supposed to run in, extract. Normally, these are things we send the Delta Force to do or Green Berets. You know what I'm saying? It's not everybody that can even do these kind of things. The Russians watched them in the landing zone, watched them release all the troops, send in FPV drones, killed them all, and then blew the helicopters out the sky. You know what I'm saying? I mean, while Zelensky, and then he tried to do it again, and the exact same thing happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is almost like a movie. Like, in a movie, you send in Rambo and you drop him off and he sneaks behind enemy lines and he gets the colonel and he pulls him out. But that shit's only in a movie. When you try that in a real war zone, people die, and that is what is happening right now. It's exactly what Putin told Zelensky would happen. It's the thing that he communicated with the president of the United States. And everyone is complicit in this right now because everyone that helped prop up the story of the Ukrainian army is the best army in Ukraine, talking about, oh, Russia's not even the best army. And, like, all of those soldiers that are stuck in Pokrovsk right now, all of that is on all of the journalists that have lied about what's been going on. And they were offered opportunities to surrender, and it was publicly made known. So whatever happens next, from a moral point of view, Putin's already, we've been talking about this on this show for weeks. In the Russian sentiment, there is the conversation that Putin has gone soft. And so he's going to have to do something strong that would be beyond what would be the normal, let's be soft, let's have negotiation, diplomacy. That's not what the Russian mood is right now. You have the city for the taking. You've captured the enemy army. You have them surrounded on 3 sides, essentially 4 sides. This is classic Sun Tzu. And the rumor continues to be this is a battle of generals. Either Syrskyi, who is the commanding officer of the Ukrainians, will lose his job over what happened in Pokrovsk, or Gerasimov, who is essentially the person who is controlling the special military operation in Russia. That's the stakes for this right now. No one can afford to lose. So they're going to commit everything. They're going to crash their Tonka trucks. And right now, Russia clearly has the advantage.
Yeah. There is not a lot of strongholds left in Ukraine. I think that's another reason why you're seeing a lot of ways the emergency buttons being hit in Ukraine, because and again, this was something that Donald Biden should have already, moved past this, brought the negotiations to a legitimate place where we can acknowledge the Donbass and Crimea are going to stay in Russia. We're going to demilitarize, denatolize, and as the Russians said, denazify, which they already have been doing, and make Ukraine a place in where there's just not a staging ground for NATO to destabilize Russia. And there was a time where that negotiation could have saved thousands, tens of thousands of lives. And that is when Donald Trump came into office, which, of course, did not happen. Now, there is no leverage for the Ukrainians. There's not many strongholds left. In many ways, the Russian forces could really just go to Kyiv right now if they wanted to. They choose not to because
at the very least they could go to the Dnieper. They could push all the way to the Dnieper, be very little challenge to them up into that point. For those of you that are not super familiar with Ukrainian geography, there's a river that kind of runs from the north to the south called the Dnieper, and it kind of cuts the country into thirds. Like everything to the west of the Dnieper, there might be challenge. You have more ethnic Ukrainians there. Everything to the east of the Dnieper is mostly Russian. Like culturally, they're Russian. They speak Russian. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would have any problems if they really wanted to go all the way to the Dnieper. Another place that they have the ability to move to is quite potentially Odessa. I continue to hear those. There's a motivation now for them to unify all the way up to Transnistria, right? So that's a whole nother way that Ukraine and Moldova even could end up being impacted by this, right? This is what the cost of failure is. And this is why for quite some time, the Russian position has been, let's go back to Istanbul. There was an agreement with the Ukrainians in Istanbul that outlined exactly what acceptable expectations were. And the reality is, if Ukraine had signed that, there would be a larger, safer Ukraine today. They chose not to, and this is the consequence.
I want to play this for you and our YouTube audience. I will read along because I believe it is in Ukrainian. This is Volodymyr Z. Okay. This is 2022. All right. So let's take a look here. Matter of fact, would you read along the subtitles if you wouldn't mind?
Let's do it. Everyone has varied interest. There are those in the West who don't mind the long war.
Є ті, хто хоче, щоб ця війна йшла довго. Тому що це буде виснаження Росії, але ціною України. Ціною життя людей. Вони... Це точно вигідно деяким країнам.
Some countries. I wonder which one of those countries it would be. So let's acknowledge that everyone who knows.
This is an interview he's giving to The Economist, by the way.
Yeah. So again, I want to just acknowledge that there was a moment in time where there was whoever decided it, deep state, this, that, I don't, ideologues. I'm not sure exactly how it works. But someone was, or some people were like, look, we need to continue to destabilize Russia. It is a superpower that is moving away from us.
I mean, you can hear Lindsey Graham saying these things.
Sure. I mean, you hear, Donald Trump brag about, sending missiles when Obama was sending blankets, things like this. It's still on that rhetoric. So even the first Trump term, there was already this lethal aid, as they call it now, moving towards Ukraine. And we know that's what the point was. So now, we are at this point. I know we keep saying this, right? We've been talking about the demise of Ukraine for quite some time. But it's the only reason this war is even continuing, because Russia has what they want now, is because it's still a militarized country with Volodymyr Zelensky, who is past his term several years under a military, what do they call it?
And they're starting to show that now, right? You're starting to see that in the Western media. They're starting to talk, oh, he's a little bit of a tyrant. Oh, there's a little bit of corruption. These things are showing. And this is the Politico article that they wrote. But we're seeing more and more of these and that's how man. He's about to have his Saddam Hussein moment. It's such a matter of like where you're coming into American history generationally, right? Because like millennials, they have the idea of Saddam Hussein, the evil tyrant. But Gen X, we remember Saddam Hussein, the patriot, the one who was helping the Americans fight off the tyrannical Iranians and fight the Shah. And he was a good guy in the 80s, right? This is where we're going with Zelensky. Once they're done with you, even the way that he's shot in his photo, right? Look at how the eyes are looking through you. The face is looking down, right? He's grim. He's stern. He does not look welcoming. He looks a little worn. He looks frightened. He looks timid. He looks beaten.
Yeah. Can you read the headline for the podcast listeners?
The dark side of Zelensky's rule. I mean, right? That's the fucking headline.
I mean, dude.
Straight Star Wars with this shit.
What?
Fucking Sith Lord shit. The dark side. Opposition
This is Politico. This is supposed to be the top journalism we have.
There it is. Opposition lawmakers and civil society activists say Ukraine's leadership is using lawfare to intimidate opponents and silence critics. But how could that be? It's a democracy. Not like Russia, where they have elections. Fucking go on for like weeks and weeks and weeks. No. So it's ridiculous, right? This just goes to show once again, when the West falls out of love with you, it's quick, it's swift, and we talk about fascism, but you have to understand fascism will not tolerate losers. It just doesn't. And he's lost, right? And what's worse is he lied and lost. He stole, he lied, and he lost. And in capitalism, they're okay with the stealing. They need you to steal a little bit just so they can trust you. I mean, trust a man around all his gold and won't steal nothing, right? The theft, that's not even the problem. The loss, that's the problem. They cannot forgive him because it was his job to go and break the mighty bear. It was his job to break Russia, and that's not what's happened. They've actually made Russia significantly stronger. They've risen Russia's profile in the world tenfold. Russia did not have a very high place in the estimation of most of the world pre-2020. They just didn't, right? Watching the so-called developing world, the global majority, right, look up to Russia over the past 2 years to see someone go toe-to-toe with the empire, like that has had significant impact and resistance struggles all around the world, and that cannot be understated.
Yeah.
Places like the Sahel are a wonderful example of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think there it is. And this is what we've been trying to tell our friends, our comrades. This is why what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening in Russia and the special military operation is important. And here we are, NATO, Europe, what are they going to do? When are they going to back down? And if not, how are they going to continue to escalate? And it's a dangerous question. And it's a question that really no one knows the answer to, because Russia is not backing down. They're not going to do that. They can't do that. It's an existential threat.
They backed into a wall.
They've already mentioned this, and the people are with them. Again, you already acknowledged that in a lot of ways, Putin has gone from being more of a moderate to even, less aggressive, less prone, for the violence of war and the missions that end up with, dead Ukrainians. And, he wants to hold back a little bit more. And the rest of the people, like, I can imagine that in America, if there was a hate of I can't imagine Americans being like, no, let's go light on them. Like, this is what they did. If you think about it, and I know we have, is unforgivable. You guys sold out to the West to destabilize us and with a bunch of Nazis. And here we are.
It is a special kind of hate because they feel, out of all of the different Soviet republics that broke away, I feel like there's the greatest kinship between Ukraine and Russia, especially culturally. You can maybe argue the Belarusians, they still have incredibly strong connections, but like the story of Kiev and the story of the Russians, it literally is tied into the Kievan Rus tribe, which goes back easily 1,200 years. I mean, it's so much older than America. It's ironic, right? Like that, but these are the things that happen. And this is why you have to think about it as a civil war between cultures. I don't like to get involved in civil wars. They're always ugly. It's like going and watching someone's family fight. What's going to happen? How you going to break it up? They going to go back, and that's what Ukraine conflict is with Russia. These are ugly conflicts, and they're going to be this way. But it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. And Pokrovsk is a great example for the overwhelming probability of how it's going to play out. And again, the moment that it becomes certain that Pokrovsk has been won or lost, look for major changes in the military leadership on whatever losing side. Strong. There's lots of circles, lots of whispers in the wind that Syrskyi is about to lose his job. And this will be the second commander-in-chief that the Ukrainians have lost. That's normally not something that happens when you're winning. You got to remember, Zaluzhny was the first commander-in-chief. He's off being the ambassador to Britain now, just so that he could never run for president because he would beat Zelensky, right? And then they put in Syrskyi. Budanov was one of the guys they talked about having. Budanov will probably be the guy they give it to next. But someone will lose their career, and probably people will lose their lives. And that is what war is.
And no one can win it. Just the realities on the ground. It's just ridiculous to believe that a general is going to have such a brilliant mind. He's going to Napoleon them through this. Oh, wow, look at him. Like, it's just not possible. Russia's too good. They're too well equipped. Their soldiers are motivated, trained, and locked in, as the kids say. Let's give a shout out to our podcast listeners. We're available everywhere you find podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. InnerCityLeft.com. You can see what's going on with us, fables, foibles, and other American sins. I want to give a shout out to our Patreons, patreon.com/InnerCityLeft. Hang out with us. Say what's up. We got free subscriptions, all of those good things. Be a part of what we doing. And one last thing, if I can pull up
the dark side.
Dark side. Darkness. Black, evil, black magic.
Evil black.
Guys, check us out. We're going to be in LA on Saturday doing music. It's going to be litty. And the function will be live. And you'll hear us rap. Look, you can get us out of the house for the right event. And we're going to be there hanging out with other socialists. And it's going to be a turn up, and it's going to be real. And look, hey, if you want us to come to your function, hit us up. It's always better when there is masks involved, and we can all be safe there. But if you want to have a good time, party with us, you're in LA, do what you do. We'll post more about it on Inner City Left. Those are my thoughts on that. Those are all the plugs I have. Tanky, what did I miss? What are your final thoughts?
It's peacetime, man. Dick Cheney, man, he's no longer with us, man.
Bruh,
The last of his name.
One more time. Just one more time, man.
There's no war. Emperor
It's
Krause,
peacetime,
man.
baby.
We
Ain't no more in
winning, man.
Ukraine.
It's
We
going
doing
down,
it.
man.
You guys
It's all
is really,
good.
you guys is tripping, man. Ain't no.
There are no games.
Ain't no.
We're talking about games, Emperor Krause, man.
They ain't working out. What you
No.
mean? Ain't no creatine? Okay, that's enough. I'm sorry to keep y'all waiting or just keep y'all. Any other final thoughts, or was that your final thought?
No, I just remember that the little Hollywood movies, you know what I'm saying, back from spring like 2 years ago when the Ukrainians began their little weak ass push. You know, like, shh, we're making moves. Don't tell nobody. I'm like, bitch, you telling us? You're making a fucking video.
Yeah, that's what it is, y'all. We living in an unreality.
Man.
That's it. For
I'm out.
Yeah, you're out. You're done. For Emotional Little Tanky Sumler, I am Amin TMK. This is the Inner City Left broadcast. Peace.
System riding to the core. Yeah. Reppin' inner city left.